Hi guys, welcome to this short video on basic 2 of 1's theory and what 2 of 1 is all about. I'm going to assume that you've got some sort of knowledge of SAYC or ACL or something similar, so that I'm not going to be kind of explaining this type of a sequence. So in SAYC, for instance, if it goes 1 spade, 2 clubs, what that shows is it shows 4 plus clubs, 10 plus points, and it's forcing 4 round, or some people play it forcing up to 2 no trump or whatever. In 2 over 1, the same sequence is game forcing. Okay, so 2 clubs basically says that the partnership is going to go to game. Okay, a few points, some obvious, some not. Okay, so anytime you assign a bid to mean a particular thing, that bid can't obviously now be interpreted for something else. Fairly obvious, right? Your bridge bidding tools are limited. Okay, you've only got 1 club to 7 no trump, double, pass, redouble again. Fairly obvious, right? The consequences of this, though, maybe you haven't thought about it, is that you can't assign a bid for every possible sequence. So in other words, it's just not possible to bid every conceivable sequence that's out there. So you're going to have to muddle through. Okay, and what this basically means is that you need to have a bid to have multiple meanings or a very wide range, which is why transfers are so popular. Okay. So in other words, up here, 1 club, 1 spade, 2 clubs. Your 2 clubs could be could be a 12 count, it could be a 20 count, it could have 4 clubs, it could have 7 clubs. Okay, so you need partner basically to bid again so that you can clarify this. So it's very, very important that bids are forcing and that you're able to do so, which is the whole advantage behind 2 over 1. Any bidding system, basically what you want to do is you want to be able to sign off, invite, or force in any given situation. So for instance, that's why Leventhal is so great over overcalls of 1 or trump. Okay, it allows you to sign off, it allows you to invite, and it allows you to force. I suppose depending on your system, but most systems will be geared towards getting to game and trying to get the slam, because there's game and slam bonuses. Okay, part scores, they're not that important. Okay. Now, in some systems like SAYC and ACL, right, sometimes you use up bidding space just to force. Okay, I mean, like fortitude forcing. Fortitude forcing doesn't mean anything. All it is just creates a forcing situation. So you're wasting bidding space just to actually create a forcing situation. In 2 over 1, that doesn't happen because at a low level, you're game forcing straight away. So what's the cost? Well, obviously, like if you've got your 10, 11 counts that you would be bidding 2 clubs, 1 spade, 2 clubs in SAYC, well, you can't do that anymore. So where's that bid going to go? So what generally happens is that an awful lot of these bids get stuffed into a 1 no trump response. So your 1 no trump response, is really an absolute dustbin. I mean, I suppose the variations of hands that can be bid, 1 spade, 1 no trump are massive, absolutely huge. Okay. As a result, a lot of people play the 1 no trump as forcing again to try and clarify, what types of hands they've actually got when they bid 1 no trump. The whole concept and point behind 2 over 1 is space. Okay, so you created a game forcing auction at a really low level. Okay, so 1 spade, 2 clubs, brilliant. Okay, so you've got all the room between 2 diamonds all the way up to game to now explore which game you should be in, which strand you should be in, how high you should be going in, have you got stoppers, have you got cubids, etc. Okay, so space conservation is paramount. Okay, you don't jump around in 2 over 1. Okay, so you never have a sequence where it goes, say 1 spade, 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 4 spades. That doesn't exist. Okay, that's nonsense, right? Because you've now just wasted all the space between 2 diamonds and 4 spades for what? Okay, that's the whole point. And generally speaking, the 2 over 1 bidder is captain. So 1 spade, 2 clubs, the 2 club bidder is generally the captain. They're unlimited. Okay, so opener tries to describe their hand as best as possible, and then the 2 over 1 bidder tries to place the contract. When you're bidding, you always assume the minimum. So you always take a pessimistic view. Okay, so if you've got a 1 heart, 2 diamonds, okay, the 2 diamond opener is going to assume an 11 or 12 count. And the 1 heart opener is going to assume a 12 count for 2 diamonds. They're not going to assume anymore, and you base the bidding on that. Okay, now there are several variations of 2 over 1 game forcing. I'm going to describe the one that I use, and then I'll point out some of the other differences. Okay, so this is what I mentioned here earlier. You don't jump around. You save the space. The version that I play, you always show your major. So this sequence here, so 1 diamond, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, is not a reverse. It's absolutely mandatory. If you've got a major, you must show it. Okay, so this is a major difference in SAYC. Oracle, 1 diamond, 2 clubs, 2 hearts. 2 hearts is a good hand. It's at least 15, maybe 16. It's game forcing. Generally shows 4 hearts, 5 diamonds. Okay, so the version that I play, this is not the case. Now, there is another version where it goes 1 diamond, 2 clubs. If you've got a minimum hand, you would bid 2 diamonds or 2 no trump or whatever it is. And then you try and find your major. Okay, so this has advantages and disadvantages. Jacoby 2 no trump. Again, in SAYC, Jacoby is I suppose useful and it's part of the system because it immediately sets a trump suit. It immediately says to the partnership that we're game forcing. But in my opinion, it's an awful hog of a bid. Like, I mean, you know, the sequence like 1 spade, 2 trump, 4 clubs showing a second suit. I mean, what is the point? You've just wasted all this bidding space, you know, to show a hand which maybe that's not the feature that you want to show. So in 2/1, what you do is you do a 2/1 bid, and then you support partner later on. So delayed raise, basically. Okay, so it goes 1 something, 2/1 here, partner bids whatever, and now you raise partner suit. And now this is similar to a Jacoby. And generally speaking, you will find that this sequence tends to be lower than Jacoby. Okay. Also, once you're in this sequence here and you've agreed a trump suit, the next bids here are Q bids. So it's nothing to do with minimum or maximum. You simply start queuing. And again, this gives maximum information to responder. The approach that I use, the tough hands are actually the 15-16 hands, opposite 15-16 hands, because both partners have a little bit extra, and you're assuming minimums when you're bidding. So what you may find is that this kind of combination, you know, tends to get lost. Okay, thank you very much.